So I wanted to make a video about manifesting, and I've really put this into practice over the past year, and it has completely transformed my life. Key things to keep in mind when you're manifesting. Number one is make sure it's specific. Don't give some generality, like tell the universe exactly what you want. If you're looking to, get a house for your family, say it's a 3-bedroom house, I want a pool, I want a built-in garage, I want it to be remodeled, I want it to be built after 1990, whatever the case is. And then, so once you have it being specific, another thing too is you want to make sure it's of resonance of what your resonance is, as far as what is for your highest good. So you want to make sure that it's not egotistical and that it is of your highest good, because when you are manifesting, manifesting is of the loving vibration, which is a higher vibe. And then another thing too, my dog's going crazy, is to make sure that you are very cognizant of your thoughts and emotions. A lot of people, including myself, for the longest time, I would tell the universe what I want. And then shortly after that, all of a sudden I'd be like, oh, I don't know if I can have this. I don't know if I deserve this. How can I afford this? How is this going to happen? And all these different thoughts. And it's literally sending out all these mixed signals to the universe, and the universe doesn't know what to do. And then another thing too you want to keep in mind is that when you're having your thoughts, you want to use discernment. Because not all thoughts that you have are yours. You can be picking up on other people's thoughts and not even realize it. So you want to use discernment whether it is your thought or not. The easiest way to describe this is we've all been in the room with somebody we're really close with, and you're able to finish each other's sentences. So that's the easiest explanation for how other people's thoughts can be your thoughts. In higher dimensions, most higher dimensional beings don't communicate with words, they communicate through telepathy. Since we are ascending to higher dimensional frequencies, that is coming on more and more strong. So, and then another thing too is that if you have, a negative thought about that's counterproductive to what your intention or your goal of what you're trying to manifest is to simply accept it, release it, and then replace it with exactly what you want again, resetting that expectation. And then soon you'll realize that when you're in control of your thoughts and emotions, you'll realize that you'll hardly ever have negative thoughts anymore, because you'll be so in tune with your own thoughts and your own emotions and your own frequency. And so there's been a few minor or most recent, manifesting stories that I have recently. So one of them is I was killing it at my sales job. I've been killing it basically the whole time I was there. And then all of a sudden, like this past June and July and August, it was really, really hard for me. I was just struggling. And so I was like, okay, universe, I want a new job. I wanted it to be a business-to-business sales. I wanted to be an account executive. I want it to be a small company that has good culture. And then I also, want to be able to grow into mid-market and enterprise business-to-business sales. So I set that intention, cultivated, was applying for all kinds of different jobs. And at the same time, I was like, I'd really also want to have a spiritual sales job. And so I put out tons of applications for business-to-business sales and getting, hits and things like that. And I started thinking to myself, I was like, how am I going to find a spiritual sales job? But I didn't let that thought get in my way. Like as soon as I was having that thought, I was like, no, that's what I want. I want a spiritual sales job too. So long story short, I get the business-to-business job with an account executive position, doing B2B sales with a small company that has great culture. And when I was getting hired, they were like, no, we don't have mid-market or enterprise. I was like, all right, whatever. My first week in training, one of the owners comes up to me and says, hey, we're looking to grow into mid-market and enterprise. And I was like, see, that's exactly what the universe does. So at the same time, when I did my search for my spiritual sales job, as you can imagine, there was nothing that came up. There was nothing that came up at all. She's going crazy. So I ended up having to do a little bit of searching, and I found this lady's profile, and she was like, I'm the founder of this company. We basically work like insurance, providing reimbursement for people in the holistic industry, like Reiki healers, yoga, massage, mystic arts, things like that. And so, sure enough, I started doing that on the side. So those are just two examples. And, it took a little bit of time for those things to happen. But I kept setting my intention on what I want. And, sure enough, in a few months, it happened. Now, another thing is that most recently I went to a gem show. And one of my friends came and met up with me. And she was like, I want 3 amethyst crystals. I was like, all right, that's what you want. That's what the universe is going to give you. I was like, so there's this wheel over here. You give them, it's a quarter a spin. And there's 30 numbers and 30 spots on the board with 30 different crystals. And on the board at all times is 3 amethyst crystals out of like 30. So she spins first time, gives them $1, spins first time, gets an amethyst crystal. Spins the second time, gets another amethyst crystal. Spins a third time, and then gets some other random crystal. And I was like, we start walking away. I was like, oh, universe is 2 out of 3. It's pretty good. And then it dawned on me. I was like, hey, you gave her $1 and you only got 3 spins. I was like, you got to go back and get your other spin to get your amethyst. She's like, no, it's all good. So whatever, we just go about our business. And then me and my friend were like, hey, we want to go get lunch. We want to leave. And then one of my other friends was like, all right, yeah, we can get lunch too, but I want to go back and, I haven't spinned yet. I was like, all right. So we go back and I'm like, hey, it's time to get your amethyst. You got to get your other spin. She's like, no, it's all good. Don't worry about it. And so me being me, when we go up to the wheel and the lady there, I was like, hey, my friend gave you $1. She only got 3 spins. She didn't get her 4 spins. She got to get her other amethyst. My friend's like, she starts, like, no, don't worry about it. I was like, no. I was like, you got to get your other amethyst. So the lady behind the desk, she's really sweet and nice. And she's like, go ahead. And so I was like, all right, go ahead and spin. She's like, no, it's all good. So me being me, I run up and I spin it. And it lands on number 17. Now, number 17 has been one of my spiritual numbers since I was early teens. I was really big into numerology, and I figured out that 17 was my positive number, and then 71 was my equal and opposite number. So right when it hit 17, and I look at her, she's like, it's an amethyst. I'm like, yeah, that's how the universe does. And these old ladies behind me were all freaked out. I was like, oh, I'm sorry, crystals just get me all excited. And so I handed her the amethyst, and I was like, see, that's exactly how the universe works. You put your intention out there and tell it what you want, and that's what you receive, if your intentions are pure. And so for the longest time, I've known what manifesting is, and I thought I was doing it right, but didn't realize my own thoughts and emotions were blocking me for what I really want. And so when I really started focusing on my shadow and my light and integrating the two, and then focusing on my thoughts and emotions, is when I really started to be able to manifest exactly what I wanted. And to be honest, it's completely changed my life over this past year. I still have moments where like fear and doubt kicks in, but as soon as it kicks in, I'm very cognizant of it, and I reset everything that I want. And like I said, the more you do it, the more you practice it, and the more you are in control of your thoughts and emotions, the easier it's going to be for you. And the thing is that we must really be mindful of our thoughts, because since we're raising in dimensional frequency, it's easier and easier for things to manifest. And so if you're constantly having, a negative talk that's playing in your head, you're manifesting, the counterproductive to what you really want. You don't even realize it's happening. And some of the children in here, since they're not, conditioned to societal norms, and they're automatically living in a high vibration, it's so easy for them to do so. Like when we were still at that gem show, one of my friend's sons, he was just like, I want these 2 crystals. And sure enough, he was walking through and 2 random people gave him 2 random crystals, and they just so happened to be the ones that he wanted. So I hope this helps in helping you be able to get what is of resonance with you and what your highest good is to better your life. And I do hope that you all have an enjoyable night and holiday weekend. And stay blessed.